On today's video, I'm going to talk about my top 5 neighborhoods in Williamsburg, Virginia, and we're starting right now. Hey, my name is Sam Sansalone and I'm a real estate agent in the Hampton Roads area that goes from Virginia Beach through Williamsburg. I do videos every week about living and moving to the area. So today I'm talking about my top 5 neighborhoods in Williamsburg. I have a ton of favorite neighborhoods in Williamsburg, but these are the ones I've distilled down, broken it down to the ones I think are my favorites. In addition to those neighborhoods, I'm going to give a couple pivot neighborhoods as well that if you don't find that the location or the houses themselves work for you, the pivot neighborhoods might also help you find other alternatives that might give you the same thing or an alternate of what you're looking for. So I'm going to share my screen with you to show you where in Williamsburg these neighborhoods are. So the number 5 neighborhood in Williamsburg is Paylegs Point, and I'm going to zoom in into Neck of the Land Road, which is, and right off of there is Paylegs Way right here. This is one new construction neighborhood that I like, just I'd say about 10 minutes away from the center of Williamsburg. You've got houses that are single family, ranch style. You've got houses in the 4s and 5s if they're a little bit smaller, upwards into the 7s if you want a bit larger size. But this is, to me, I'd say bang for buck, one of the best spots for new construction that you'll find anywhere in Williamsburg. Now, as you'll find too, you're going to be driving off of Route 5, Jamestown Road, actually 5 into 31, south and southwest, away from Williamsburg. And as you drive away from Williamsburg, the further you go, it feels more and more rural. So even as you drive down here, it's trees, you'll see neighborhoods to your left and right randomly, but you'll see a lot of country, a little bit more rural elements to it as opposed to the closer you get into proper Williamsburg. In addition to that, you're also close to the Colonial Parkway. Even though you're further away, like 10-12 minutes away from Williamsburg itself, you can take the Colonial Parkway, more scenic route, and that connects you over towards the James River. You can get the view of the James River, and that takes you up back into Williamsburg as well. So you got multiple ways to get up there. So that's number 5. I like the location. I like the style of houses. I like the price, even for what you get for new construction anywhere in James City County or even in York County in Williamsburg itself. Number 4 is a neighborhood called Kingswood. So if you get out of Paylegs Point and just go northeast on the road, on Jamestown Road, you'll run into Kingswood to your left. So because it's closer to Colonial Williamsburg and downtown Williamsburg, you're going to be closer to everything. You're probably like 3 to 4, maybe 5 minutes away from a lot of shopping around the Ring Road, around 199, or again, driving to Williamsburg is probably about 7 or so minutes. And so this neighborhood is great because it has an older feel to it, but not like ancient. Tons of trees, the brick, a lot of brick in these streets, and then the houses are unique as well, so you don't see too much cookie cutter aspects of the neighborhood also, which is a big thing that I like. Now, one of the things about Kingswood I like also is because you can get a big range of prices in here. So you can get houses in here in the 300s, 400s, and you can go up 5s and 6s. You'll see some larger ones up over in that range. So that's the drawback and the benefit to an area that has a lot of wide range of prices. Now, the Kingswood neighborhood also has an optional HOA, and I love the optional HOAs because you can take the benefits of it if you want, but you're not forced into it, and so there's still a nice community feel as well. There's a pool, clubhouse. Now the Kingswood HOA, optional HOA, is $100 per person, and then $400 for a family, and I can drop a link below for more information about the Kingswood HOA, but it's a good one if you do want something that's optional. Now, this is number 4, but also the pivot neighborhood if you don't like Kingswood for some reason, but you like the idea of an optional HOA. I'm going to take you back further north and northeast past the downtown or central Williamsburg area, across 64 into an area called Queens Lake. Now, I actually like Queens Lake a lot, probably more so than Kingswood. The reason I put Kingswood on the list as well, though, is that you can get a little bit cheaper house here, so if you want a little bit more affordability, but Queens Lake is probably my favorite of the two. It got the views are awesome in some of these spots. The houses a bit higher priced, usually around the 400, upwards of 6, 7, 8 and up, because you got a lot of larger houses in here as well, and also you're around the Queens Lake. And you have the optional HOA as well, but you have an awesome view of the lake. And actually I'll put a pin down where the lake is. This is the drive through one side of the neighborhood to the other. So you can walk across, you got walkways here over towards the HOA. This is awesome. The views are amazing. And so these houses are similar style. You've got the similar older style neighborhood. So if I show what I mean over into some of these roads, I'll drop a pin over here. See this, that older feel. No sidewalks. It's quiet back here, but no sidewalks. See these ages, you're talking about 50s, 60s neighborhood. You'll see some that are newer and some newer construction, but for the most part, you'll see a lot of ranches, larger properties. So that's a big benefit to being in Queens Lake. And that's why I would say it's my pivot neighborhood to my number 4 neighborhood, which is Kingswood. Now that leads me to my number 3 neighborhood, which is a pair of sister neighborhoods called First Colony and Shellbank Woods. So back to the map. This one's a bit further away from the center of Williamsburg. I love this one for a couple of reasons, but if you drive off of Route 5 to John Tyler Highway, that takes you over towards Governor's Land, which is one of the 3 large HOA neighborhoods near golf courses in and around Williamsburg. Just before you get there, you'll turn onto John Rolfe Lane. John Rolfe Lane is the first road that connects into both neighborhoods. And so Shellbank Woods is on the left side of this neighborhood, just to the left here. And to the right, on this side, is First Colony. So now this has a similar feel to it compared to places like Kingswood and Queens Lake. Got the older style houses, kind of the Rambler Ranch 2-story, not the HOA feel from the standpoint of everything's manicured perfectly. It's got that kind of a rustic feel to it, and a lot of the houses are unique and different, which again is why I like it. Now, one of the things too is if you look on the whole coast of the James City County area near Jamestown, you notice there are very few areas around the coast near the James River that have water access to houses. There aren't too many spots, but separate for Governor's Land, First Colony is one of those spots that has houses on the water. So if you do want to pay over, pushing up over $1 million, this is a spot you can get possibly the water access and the views that you might want, but also this is another one that has an optional HOA too for about $35 a month. This one's got a clubhouse, a pool, playground. Also has a private beach, which I'll show you on the map too. As you drive down in the southern part, do the satellite view, you can see it right here, First Colony Beach and Marina. That's right on the edge, and that's the James River. That's also a very uncommon thing to find in most parts of Hampton Roads, period. The First Colony HOA is actually called the Greater First Colony HOA because it does include Shellbank Woods, which is just to the west of First Colony. So I love this neighborhood. For the price, you're talking anywhere from like the 4s, 5s, and 6s for the most part. Again, you'll see as the prices will increase if you're on the water, and then you'll find some small ones you might be able to get a little bit cheaper as well. And again, similar to the whole idea with Kingswood, where not every spot's gonna feel great. Some are okay, some's kind of hit and miss, but if you can get the right nook in a spot that you like, you're about, again, like 15 minutes or so away from Colonial Williamsburg in downtown Williamsburg, and not even that far away to access to shopping around 199. This one's also in the Jamestown High School District, which is a pretty high demand school district in Hampton Roads. I love this neighborhood, and this is why it's my number 3 neighborhood in Williamsburg. That leads me to my number 2 neighborhood, which is Holly Hills. I love Holly Hills for a lot of variety of different reasons that compared to others we've mentioned already. I love Holly Hills because it is one of the nicest, most pristine, clean, like perfect looking neighborhoods and well kept neighborhoods anywhere in Williamsburg. These houses are much bigger. You're talking like 25, 3,000 to start, more like 35, 4,000. I've seen them upwards of 6,000 square feet in a lot of cases, but the prices are also higher. 7 to start, 7 and 8. Now you're gonna see them I've seen them into the 9s and over $1 million. This area is much closer to downtown Williamsburg. So back on the map, I'll show you. Zooming in, you'll see back to Route 5 again. Colonial Williamsburg is right here. You've got William and Mary, and then you've got Route 199 over here. So just between their sandwich, you've got Walsingham Academy, a very in-demand private school, and just next to that is Holly Hills, right here. This is Holly Hills. Not a very big neighborhood. Dropping a pin, you'll see too that Holly Hills is right next to where Route 5, there's a whole trail, it's like a sidewalk that leads you from far down away from Colonial. You can walk from there, you can walk from Holly Hills all the way into Colonial and closer to downtown Williamsburg. So I love the access, I love the location, I love the style of houses in Holly Hills. Even though it's not a very big neighborhood, I think it's still one of the ones that, to me, I seek after the most, if at all possible. You're close to the Colonial Parkway as well, which is right behind you, going up, crossing 199 over into, you're basically equidistant from the James River and the York River on both sides of the Colonial Parkway. So now, if the larger house isn't your style, but you like the feel and the vibe of the Holly Hills, there's a neighborhood just behind it called Port Anne you can also pivot to. Port Anne's houses are in the 5s and 6s as opposed to, you know, Holly Hills where you got 7 and up. So this is a nice pivot for you if you just want to save a little bit of money and have the same feel of the neighborhood. But again, another drawback would be on Port Anne is that the lot sizes are also smaller, but you can drive up Henry Street, take you up right into Colonial, and then you go further down south towards 199 as well and get to shopping. You're minutes away from shopping and you're right kind of close to the heart of historic Williamsburg. Now that leads me to our number 1 neighborhood in Williamsburg. It is Ford's Colony. So I did a whole video about Ford's Colony already. I love Ford's Colony. It's one of the 3 large HOA neighborhoods in all of the Williamsburg area. It is further west from the center part of Williamsburg. So looking at the map, here's back to central. There's 199. And so just further west from 199 is a road called Long Hill Road. Now Long Hill Road is 612 right here. This road connects towards 199. This goes from 199 over to Centerville Road, which is 614. Just south of there, this whole section, almost this whole section, is Ford's Colony. There are just multiple neighborhoods all through Ford's Colony that are in various price ranges, various sizes. You have a great HOA, about $174 a month. You got the Ford's Colony Country Club also that is in the middle of Ford's Colony that is not a part of the Ford's Colony HOA. There are multiple pools in Ford's Colony. You're buying into a neighborhood that's extremely well kept. They're on it in Ford's Colony. It's an amazingly well-kept neighborhood. There are also clubhouses as well. You also have an area where you can park an RV, you know, other storage, like parking storage for cars on the west side of the neighborhood. There are a dozen plus neighborhoods in Ford's Colony that are different names, that have different size houses, different feels to them. But one of the benefits to Ford's Colony is that you can go to any of them and it feels awesome. So you're not gonna find one that's rough, you know? If you want different sizes, you can get attached houses, you can get larger houses. 3,000 to 6,000 square feet is a pretty nice range of house options. Now one of the drawbacks to Ford's Colony is going to be also that because there are a lot of custom houses in here, you might find that there are some houses that have just weird designs. And I've talked to people about this a lot. This is a pretty common thing where they don't all feel intuitive. Some houses have random rooms that don't seem to work, but otherwise the quality of the neighborhood, the quality of the houses, the construction, the quality of the materials, all of that. So if you have any more questions about living in Williamsburg or anywhere else in the peninsula or south side into Virginia Beach, please let me know. I've got my contact information in the description. You can reach out to me at any point and I'll do whatever I can to help you relocate to the area. And I will see you on the next video.